Hello and welcome to Colwich Junction. Thanks as ever for taking the time out to stop by and see what's been happening here on the layout. Well, to start with, please excuse these very compressed shots of me working on the southern end of the layout, which was absolutely ages ago. And we're talking years ago now, and I'm guessing by the fact that I've got my PJs on and a woolly hat, it was pretty cold in the loft. So, and I know it wasn't last winter, so it must have been sometime on the previous year. Anyway, that aside, this end of the layout has long been neglected. I hate the corners. I don't like the tight corners, so trying to hide them is the name of the game here. Whether I'm going to be successful at doing that or not, only time will tell. I'm not very good at planning things out on a piece of paper. It all sort of happens in my head, and that's the way I like to do things. Well, I say like to do things, that's the way things happen. So hopefully over the next few months we should see some progress. Here we see 61612 heading across onto the main line, and ahead of it is one of the corners which is due to be disguised. It's going to be a bridge from one end, the way you're looking, and then from the other direction it'll probably be a tunnel. So there are various bridge kits out there which can be used. You can see here I'm messing around with a couple of single portals and double portals. The Excellent Wills girder bridge kit is going to be utilised. I'd got one lying around which I hadn't used, so we'll be using some of that. And then a little bit out of context, I've picked up this wonderful girder bridge off eBay, ready assembled. And I know that's cheating, but I know it's not very reminiscent of West Coast main line round here. It's more sort of familiar with the lines coming out of Paddington, but I think that will really fit in at this side of the layout. Yeah, we'll see how that goes. Having seen a rail operations group, Europhoenix, liveried 37 on the main line some years ago, when Accurascale announced that they were going to be producing a model of the said locomotive, it was top of my shopping list. And finally, after a long wait, she arrived. And I'm not at all disappointed in any way. What a superb model. The Accurascale Class 37 is a wonderful representation of the real-life locomotive, which is probably my favourite diesel out there. Thankfully, still running on the main line, and this very modern livery probably isn't everybody's cup of tea, but I really like it, and I think they've done a great job. I've been very lucky recently that funds have become available to allow me to buy a couple of new locos. So 37606 with the YPAC headlights has also been added to the roster. Another beautiful model. there's been an influx of drivers and crew for the new locomotives over the last couple of months, and some of them I've had to paint, and some of them, like the Class 37 crew from Accurascale, are already painted. But yeah, that's been another little bit of a sideline that's been going on this month, which is good. Most of my posts are done on Instagram, those of you that follow me on there, and I picked up a few tips and helpful ideas from the guys on there, one of which was to get one of these Tamiya turntables, which I hadn't got before, so it's been invaluable when they're in some stock. This is obviously an insulated box fan that I picked up at a model railway show recently. So yeah, that is a great addition to the tool side of weathering. So great, another good acquisition. I'm quite pleased with the results on the box fan. This is probably just going to sit in a siding somewhere, which kind of brings me on to the next big question that I'd got buzzing around in my head. What to do with the southern end of the layout? Was it going to be a virtual quarry, which I'd always fancied, or was it going to be a nuclear loading siding, one of the small depots where they load the flasks? Well, here's your answer. Blame Accurascale again. I don't do steam. I don't model steam. I really love steam, but I just don't model it. Too fiddly, too messy. Forget that. Here we go. Now, sadly, I haven't got too many shots of the wonderful Cookham Manor running, simply because I bought it on a whim, ran it a little, and then put it back in its box. It's beautiful. It's wonderful. It sounds absolutely superb. And that kind of made up my mind about what we're going to do with the unfinished end of the layout. And yeah, it's going to be the end of a heritage line where it joins a main line. Something similar to the South Devon Railway, Totnes, if you've ever been there. So yeah, exciting times. That's the reason why there's a dirty old box fan. And of course, there are some steam crew being painted as well in the last couple of months. So I'm quite excited about this rather obvious thing to do with the end of the layout, put a heritage line on there. I wasn't planning to do it. That was probably the least popular way forward in my mind, but Accurascale have gone and spoilt that with the wonderful Manor, and now they've released a pannier as well. Well, who knows what's going to happen. Maybe I'm going to rip out all the overhead cables as well. You'll have to wait and see. Anyway, let's see what the future brings, eh? I spent a wonderful day back in October. As you can see from these shots, the weather was glorious, probably the last throw of summer, at the Llangollen Railway in Wales. And they've got an absolutely beautiful fleet of heritage diesel multiple units. So I spent the day on my own, no distractions from anyone else, a bit selfish I know, just riding the rails. I think I got off at every station. I travelled on every unit that was operating that day, and it really was a great day. It took me back to the days of my youth, growing up, using the trains on the Cross City line in Brum and thereabouts. So yeah, it was fantastic. So, get down to your local heritage railway, support them. They really, really need every flipping penny that they can get these days. And obviously the DMU is an economical way of them running trains, because obviously the soaring costs for operating steam locos is ridiculous, and it's getting worse. Well, I hope you've enjoyed today's video. If you did, I'll see you on the next one. Bye.